I am Victoria Torres, and I code like my life depends on it. The neon glow of my monitors burns against the Honolulu skyline at 2 a.m. Another sleepless night debugging systems that refuse to cooperate. Coffee cups litter my desk like casualties of war. My startup's latest project teeters on the edge of collapse, and I'm the only thing standing between success and catastrophe. The empty apartment waiting for me holds nothing but silence and regrets. Still here, Vic? Marcus peeks over the cubicle wall, his concern barely masking exhaustion. Someone has to fix this mess. He shakes his head. Get some sleep. The code will still be broken tomorrow. But sleep means dreams. And dreams mean remembering why I work until dawn. Easier to lose myself in algorithms than face the hollowness echoing through my chest. 3 blocks away, Hannah Edwards organizes her boss's impossible schedule with military precision. Her blonde hair catches the fluorescent office lighting as she juggles 17 conflicts in one morning. The corporate tower feels like a glass prison, trapping her between endless meetings and unreasonable demands. Hannah, I need the Morrison files by noon. Her boss barks without looking up. Already on your desk, sir. During lunch, she escapes to the parking garage and pulls out her secret notebook. Poetry flows from her pen like water through cracks in concrete. Words become her rebellion against the suffocating routine that pays her bills but starves her soul. The evening book club advertisement catches my eye while grabbing coffee. Literary Minds Monthly. Discuss your favorite reads. Something about intellectual escape appeals to my overtaxed brain. The cozy bookstore on King Street promises refuge from code and deadlines. Hannah discovers the same flyer at her building's community board. After another day of corporate monotony, books offer the only adventure her structured life allows. She arrives early, nervous energy making her reorganize the discussion circle chairs twice. I walk in 5 minutes late, scanning faces for fellow introverts. A blonde woman arranges books with methodical precision. Her movements graceful despite obvious anxiety. Something about her careful attention to detail resonates with my programmer's mind. First time? She asks, voice soft but confident. Testing the waters. I'm Hannah. Victoria. Our hands touch briefly during introductions. Her fingers are warm, steady. For a moment, the constant hum in my head quiets. Tonight's selection is a contemporary romance about second chances. The discussion starts tame until Hannah challenges the protagonist's motivations. Her analysis cuts through surface emotions to examine deeper psychological patterns. I find myself arguing back, defending character choices with unexpected passion. She's protecting herself, I insist. Or sabotaging happiness, Hannah counters. The debate continues long after others drift away. We're alone among scattered chairs, words flowing like we've known each other for years instead of hours. Her green eyes spark with intelligence that makes my pulse quicken in ways I'd forgotten were possible. Coffee tomorrow? The question escapes before caution can stop it. Hannah's smile transforms her entire face. I know a place. Walking to my car, I realize the hollowness has shifted. Instead of empty, it feels expectant, like something important just began. The coffee shop Hannah chose sits tucked between a surf shop and flower market, its mismatched furniture and local art, creating intimate pockets of conversation. I arrive first, claiming a corner table where afternoon light filters through bamboo blinds. My hands shake slightly as I order, nervous energy I haven't felt since college. Hannah appears wearing a flowing sundress that catches Honolulu's trade winds. Her hair glows golden in the natural light. And when she spots me, that transformative smile returns. Something in my chest tightens with anticipation. You look different outside fluorescent lighting, she says, settling across from me. Better or worse? More real. We dive into last night's debate with renewed intensity. Hannah argues that literature reveals truth through emotional manipulation, while I insist story structure matters more than feelings. Our conversation spirals through philosophy, favorite authors, childhood books that shaped us. Neruda changed everything for me, Hannah admits, stirring her latte. Poetry? Love poems. The way he describes devotion like breathing. Her cheeks flush pink. I lean forward, drawn by her vulnerability. Read me your favorite line. She recites from memory, Spanish syllables rolling off her tongue like music. The intimacy of her voice sharing something sacred makes my pulse race. When she finishes, silence stretches between us, charged with unspoken questions. Coffee dates become weekly ritual. Tuesday afternoons at different cafes across Honolulu, exploring neighborhoods through literary discussions that reveal layers of personality. Hannah shares her secret poetry, voice trembling as she reads verses about longing and transformation. I find myself opening up about why I code until dawn, using algorithms to solve problems that have no digital solutions. "You hide in work," she observes during our fourth coffee date, says the woman organizing other people's lives. Touché. But her insight cuts deep. "I do hide. Have been hiding since Sarah left 2 years ago." Hannah seems to see through my protective walls with unsettling clarity. Our walks grow longer, conversations deeper. Tonight we stroll along Waikiki Beach, shoes in hand, sand cool between our toes. The sunset paints everything golden, including Hannah's hair as ocean breeze lifts it around her shoulders. "I've never met anyone who thinks like you," she says softly. "Good thing or bad thing?" She stops walking, turns to face me. "Dangerous thing." The word hangs between us, loaded with implications neither of us is ready to name. But her eyes hold mine, and suddenly the space between us feels electric, charged with possibility that terrifies and thrills me simultaneously. I step closer. She doesn't retreat. "Hannah." Her name sounds different on my lips, intimate and questioning. She reaches up, fingers barely grazing my cheek, touch so gentle it sends shockwaves through my entire body. When our lips meet, it's soft, experimental, like we're both testing the waters of something that could change everything. The kiss lasts only seconds, but it rewrites my understanding of possibility. Hannah's breath catches as we separate, her hand still resting against my face. "I should go," she whispers, but doesn't move. "Should you?" This complicates everything. But she's smiling when she says it, and I know we've crossed a line neither of us wants to uncross. The hollowness that's lived in my chest for 2 years fills with something warm and hopeful and absolutely terrifying. Walking back to our cars, neither of us speaks. But everything has shifted. The careful friendship we've built over coffee and books has become something else entirely, something that makes my hands tremble and my heart race with equal parts excitement and fear. "Same time next week?" I ask, testing whether she'll retreat. "Wouldn't miss it." Her smile promises this is only the beginning. The week stretches endlessly. Every time my phone buzzes, I hope it's Hannah, but she remains mysteriously quiet. Our usual Tuesday coffee date approaches while I obsess over our kiss, replaying every second until I've analyzed it to death. Did I misread her signals? Was she just being polite? Work provides no distraction. The startup's latest crisis demands my full attention, but my mind keeps drifting to soft lips and gentle fingers against my cheek. Marcus notices my distraction. "You're coding like you're drunk." "Just tired." "Right." "Who is she?" I deflect with technical discussions, but he's not fooled. By Friday, the system crashes completely, requiring weekend repairs that destroy any plans I might have made. I text Hannah an apology, explaining the emergency. Her response comes hours later. "These things happen." Cold, professional. Nothing like the woman who kissed me under Hawaiian stars. Saturday evening finds me buried in code when my apartment buzzer rings. I consider ignoring it, but the persistence suggests urgency. Through the intercom, Hannah's voice sounds uncertain. "It's me. Can I come up?" She appears at my door carrying takeout bags, wearing jeans and a simple blouse that somehow makes her more beautiful than any dress. Her smile seems nervous but determined. "Thought you might be hungry." "Hannah, I'm sorry about this weekend. The system?" "Stop apologizing. You have responsibilities." But something in her tone suggests hurt beneath understanding. I let her in, clearing coding debris from my dining table, while she unpacks Thai food that smells incredible. We eat in comfortable silence, the tension from our last meeting settling between us like a third presence. "I brought dessert too," she says, producing chocolate cake. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to." Our fingers brush as she hands me a fork. The contact sends familiar electricity up my arm, and I see her feel it too. Her breathing quickens slightly. pupils dilating in the lamplight. Victoria? Yeah? I haven't stopped thinking about Tuesday night. My heart hammers against my ribs. Me neither. She sets down her fork, reaches across the small table to touch my hand. This time, neither of us pulls away. Her thumb traces gentle circles across my knuckles. I've never felt this way about anyone. About a woman, you mean? About anyone, she repeats, emphasis clear. The confession hangs between us, heavy with implication. I turn my hand palm up, interlacing our fingers. Her skin is warm, soft, perfect against mine. Hannah, if we do this... I know. But she leans closer anyway, and this time when our lips meet, there's nothing tentative about it. The kiss deepens, months of careful friendship transforming into something hungry and desperate and absolutely right. Her hands find my face, my hair, my shoulders, mapping territory we've both been dreaming about. We move to the couch without breaking contact, hands exploring, discovering. When she pulls back to look at me, her eyes are dark with desire that mirrors my own. Are you sure? I whisper. Her answer comes in another kiss, deeper this time, full of promise and surrender. Clothes disappear gradually, reverently, each new inch of revealed skin worshipped with lips and gentle touches. Hannah's body is perfect beneath my hands, responsive and eager and trembling with the same need that consumes me. We make love slowly, carefully, learning each other's rhythms and desires. Her soft gasps and whispered encouragements drive me wild. When she arches beneath me, calling my name like a prayer, I know I'm completely, irrevocably lost. Afterward, we lie tangled together on my narrow couch, her head on my chest, both of us breathing hard. My fingers trace lazy patterns along her bare shoulder while she presses soft kisses against my collarbone. Stay tonight? I ask. I should go home. But she makes no move to leave, and neither do I suggest it again. We drift toward sleep in each other's arms, everything perfect and right and terrifyingly new. Morning brings harsh reality. Hannah wakes first, and I feel her stiffen against me before fully opening my eyes. When I look at her, panic has replaced last night's contentment. Oh God, she whispers. What did we do? Hannah's panic cuts through me like ice water. She scrambles for her clothes, movements frantic and desperate. I watch from the couch, sheet pulled around myself, trying to process how everything shifted so dramatically between sleep and waking. Hannah, wait. Talk to me. This was a mistake. Her voice cracks as she pulls on her blouse. I shouldn't have come here. You can't mean that. But she won't look at me, won't let her eyes meet mine as she searches for her shoes. The woman who whispered my name in the darkness has become a stranger fleeing from what we shared. My job, Victoria, my life. People can't know about this. About what? About us? She freezes at the word us, finally turning to face me. Her eyes are red-rimmed, terrified. There is no us. There can't be. She leaves before I can respond, and the sound of my apartment door closing echoes like a gunshot. I sit alone on my couch, still wrapped in sheets that smell like her perfume, trying to understand what just happened. For 3 days she doesn't return my calls. Her texts are professional, distant, need some space to think. This is complicated. Please understand. I don't understand. I understand that something beautiful became something shameful overnight, but not why. Not how someone can touch you like you're precious and then act like you're poison. Work becomes my refuge again, but even coding can't block out the memory of her laugh, her touch, the way she said my name in the moments before sleep claimed us both. Thursday afternoon, she finally agrees to meet me. The beach where we first kissed feels like neutral territory, waves providing white noise for conversations too dangerous for coffee shops. I've been thinking, she starts, but I interrupt. Don't, whatever you're about to say, don't. Victoria, listen. You felt something. I know you did. Her composure cracks slightly. Of course I felt something. That's the problem. How is feeling something a problem? She runs her hands through her hair, destroying the careful styling she uses as armor. You don't understand. My family, my job, my entire life is built on expectations. Normal expectations. And I'm not normal? We're not normal. The words hit like physical blows. I step back, creating distance that feels both necessary and devastating. So last Saturday meant nothing? It meant everything. Her voice breaks. That's why it can't happen again. But even as she says it, her eyes linger on my lips, and I know she's remembering the same moments that have haunted me all week. The space between us feels charged, dangerous. Hannah, don't make this harder than it already is. I reach for her hand, and she doesn't pull away. Her fingers intertwine with mine automatically, muscle memory overriding conscious decision. I'm falling for you, I whisper. Tears spill down her cheeks. I know. I'm falling too. That's what terrifies me. But instead of pulling me closer, she steps back, breaking our connection. I need time, space. I need to figure out who I am without you confusing everything. I'm not trying to confuse anything. I'm trying to love you. The word hangs between us like a confession and a curse. Hannah's breath catches, and for a moment I think she might run back into my arms. Instead, she takes another step away. Love isn't always enough. It's a start. No, she says firmly. It's an ending. We're ending this before it destroys both our lives. She walks away across the sand, and I don't follow. The sunset paints everything golden, but the beauty feels mocking now. I sit alone watching waves erase footprints, wondering how something that felt so right could become so wrong in the space of 3 days. My phone buzzes with a text. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I type and delete a dozen responses before settling on truth. I could never hate you. I love you. She doesn't reply, and somehow that silence hurts more than all her words combined. The weeks after Hannah's rejection blur together like code running through an infinite loop. I throw myself into work with desperate intensity, debugging systems and building frameworks until my eyes burn from screen glare. The startup's latest project becomes my obsession. Anything to silence the echo of her voice saying it's an ending. Marcus watches me spiral with growing concern, bringing coffee I don't drink and suggesting breaks I won't take. The hollow feeling in my chest has returned worse than before, like Hannah carved out pieces of me and took them when she left. You're going to crash, he warns, after finding me asleep at my desk, for the 3rd time this week. I'm fine. Right. When's the last time you went home? I can't remember. Time has become meaningless, measured only by lines of code and Hannah's continued silence. Her last text sits unanswered in my phone. I hope you understand someday. I don't understand. I probably never will. Friday afternoon brings a client meeting in Maui, some tech conference that requires my physical presence instead of remote debugging. I drive to the airport running on fumes and caffeine. My rental car reserved for a weekend I hope will provide distraction from thoughts of green eyes and gentle touches. The highway to the conference center winds through Maui's interior, past sugarcane fields and volcanic slopes that should be beautiful but feel like wallpaper. My phone sits silent in the passenger seat. No messages from the one person I want to hear from. Rain starts as an afternoon drizzle, then builds to a downpour that makes the mountain roads treacherous. I should pull over, wait for visibility to improve, but stopping means thinking, and thinking means remembering Hannah's laugh, her tears, the way she said my name in the darkness. The truck appears out of nowhere, hydroplaning across the center line. I have maybe 2 seconds to register its approach before instinct takes over, yanking the wheel hard right. My car skids sideways, overcorrects, then tumbles down the embankment in a symphony of breaking glass and twisted metal. Then nothing. Consciousness returns in fragments, white ceiling tiles. Antiseptic smell. Machines beeping with mechanical rhythm. My head feels like it's wrapped in cotton, thoughts slow and disconnected. A woman in scrubs leans over me, checking tubes and monitors. Welcome back, she says gently. I'm Dr. Chen. You've been unconscious for 18 hours. I try to speak, but my throat feels raw, unused. She offers ice chips that melt on my tongue like small miracles. Where am I? Maui Memorial Hospital. You were in a car accident. Do you remember anything? Car accident. The words float in my mind without attaching to memories. I remember driving, rain, but everything feels distant, like someone else's story. I'm Victoria Torres, I say, testing whether basic facts still work. Good. What's your occupation? Software developer. That comes easier. I was driving to a conference. Dr. Chen nods, making notes on her clipboard. You suffered a significant head trauma. It's normal to have some memory gaps initially. They should return as you heal. Memory gaps. The phrase should worry me, but everything feels wrapped in pharmaceutical calm. I close my eyes, trying to remember what I've lost, but find only blank spaces where recent events should be. A knock interrupts my mental inventory. A blonde woman appears in the doorway, eyes red from crying, hands clutching a small bouquet of flowers. She's beautiful in a way that seems familiar, but I can't place her face. Victoria? Her voice breaks on my name. Thank God you're awake. She approaches my bed hesitantly, like she's afraid I might disappear. Something about her presence feels important, significant, but the memories won't connect. I'm sorry, I say carefully. Do we know each other? The flowers slip from her hands, scattering across the linoleum. Her face crumbles as understanding dawns. You don't remember me? Should I? She covers her mouth with trembling fingers, tears streaming down her cheeks. Whatever relationship we had, it was clearly important to her. I wish I could remember. Wish I could offer comfort instead of blank confusion. My name is Hannah, she whispers. Hannah Edwards. The name resonates somehow. Familiar syllables that should mean something but don't. I study her face, searching for recognition that refuses to come. Were we friends? She looks like I've stabbed her. Something like that. Dr. Chen returns, tactfully ignoring Hannah's obvious distress as she explains my injuries and prognosis. Temporary amnesia affecting recent memories, possible return within weeks or months, no guarantees about what I'll recover. Hannah listens in silence, hope and devastation warring across her features. When Dr. Chen leaves, we sit in uncomfortable quiet, strangers connected by forgotten history. Tell me about us, I say finally. She shakes her head. Not yet. First, you need to heal. But her eyes hold secrets that make me desperate to remember. Hannah stays. Through my 3-day hospital stay, she appears each morning like clockwork, bringing flowers, books, gentle conversation about nothing important. I catch her studying my face when she thinks I'm not looking, searching for signs of recognition that never come. You don't have to visit, I tell her Tuesday morning. I know we're strangers now. We're not strangers. Her voice carries conviction that puzzles me, just temporarily disconnected. She takes leave from her job, something that seems extreme for someone I can't remember knowing. When I'm discharged, she insists on driving me back to Honolulu, despite my protests about inconvenience. Where else would you go? She asks. The question stops me cold. I have no memory of friends, relationships, anyone who might care whether I live or die. The realization leaves me feeling hollow, untethered. My apartment feels like a museum exhibit labeled Life I Don't Remember. Hannah helps me navigate rooms that should feel familiar but don't. Books line my shelves, their titles meaningless. Photos show me at various events with people whose names I've forgotten. That's Marcus, Hannah explains, pointing to a dark-haired man in several pictures. Your colleague. Were we close? He worries about you. She makes coffee in my kitchen like she's done it 1,000 times. Movements automatic and sure. When she hands me the mug, our fingers brush, sending unexpected warmth up my arm. I pull back, startled by the intensity of such simple contact. Sorry, she whispers, cheeks flushing pink. No, I felt something, like an echo. Hope flickers in her green eyes before she looks away. Your brain is healing. Connections are reforming. Over the following days, Hannah becomes my anchor in a world that feels foreign. She explains my work, my routines, fragments of a life I apparently lived but can't access. Sometimes she starts to tell me something, then stops herself, editing her words carefully. What aren't you telling me? I ask during one of her visits. Nothing important. But her eyes say otherwise. There are depths to our relationship she won't reveal, secrets hidden beneath her careful friendship. We establish new routines. She brings lunch on weekdays, and we eat together while she tells me about books I apparently loved, places we visited, conversations that shaped a friendship I can't recall. Her presence feels essential, necessary in ways I don't understand. Thursday afternoon, she arrives with a worn paperback, its pages marked with dozens of bookmarks. "You gave this to me," she says carefully. "Poetry, Neruda." The name triggers something, a flutter of recognition too brief to grasp. She opens to a marked page, begins reading in Spanish, her voice soft and musical. The words wash over me, beautiful and somehow familiar. "Read it again," I request. This time, I watch her face as she reads, noticing how her lips shape each syllable, how her eyes grow distant with memory. Something stirs in my chest, warm and urgent and completely inexplicable. When she finishes, silence stretches between us, charged with emotions I can't name. "Why does your voice affect me like this?" I ask. She closes the book with trembling fingers. I don't know. But she does know. I see it in the way she watches me, the careful distance she maintains, the longing she tries to hide behind friendly concern. Saturday evening, she suggests we walk along Waikiki Beach, claiming it might trigger memories. The sand feels familiar beneath my feet, the sunset beautiful in ways that seem personal rather than generic. Hannah walks beside me, close enough that I catch her perfume on the ocean breeze. "We came here before?" I ask. "Once or twice." Her evasion frustrates me. "Hannah, stop protecting me from my own life." She stops walking, turns to face me with tears threatening. "You don't understand what you're asking." "Then, help me understand." For a moment, I think she'll finally tell me the truth. Instead, she steps closer. So close I can see gold flecks in her green eyes, can feel her breath on my cheek. "What if remembering hurts you?" she whispers. "What if forgetting hurts us both?" The question hangs between us like a challenge. Hannah's gaze drops to my lips, and suddenly the air feels electric, charged with possibility that both frightens and thrills me. "Victoria." "Yeah?" "I need to tell you something." But before she can speak, her phone rings, shattering the moment. She answers reluctantly, her expression changing as she listens. "I have to go," she says after hanging up. "Emergency at work?" She leaves me standing alone on the beach, watching waves erase our footprints, while questions multiply in my healing mind. The emergency that pulled Hannah away turns out to be nothing serious, just her boss's panic over a rescheduled meeting. But the interruption leaves me restless, pacing my apartment while fragments of something important dance at the edges of my consciousness. I find myself drawn to the poetry book she left behind, its worn pages marked with her careful annotations. Opening to a random page, I see her handwriting in the margins. 5 loves this one. The initial stops me cold. 5th Victoria, me. Why would she annotate my preferences in a book she claims I gave her? The poem itself is about longing, about love that transcends ordinary boundaries. As I read, something shifts in my brain, like tumblers falling into place. I remember Hannah's voice reading these exact words, remember the way her eyes grew distant with memory. Not memory of literature, memory of us. The realization hits like lightning. We weren't just friends. The careful distance, the hidden emotions, the way she looks at me like I'm precious and fragile. It all makes sense now. We were lovers. My hands shake as I turn pages, finding more annotations, more evidence of an intimacy Hannah's been hiding. Our first coffee date. She cried during this one. Read to 5 on her birthday. Birthday. When? I have no memory of celebrations, of Hannah singing to me or bringing cake, but the annotation is there in her careful handwriting. Proof of moments stolen from my damaged brain. When she arrives Tuesday morning with her usual flowers and forced cheerfulness, I'm ready. "We were together," I say without preamble. She freezes in my doorway, coffee cups forgotten in her hands. "Victoria!" "Don't lie to me anymore. I found your notes in the poetry book." She sets down the coffee, moves to my couch like she's walking to her execution. When she finally looks at me, her eyes are already wet. "Yes," she whispers. "For how long?" "Not long enough." The pain in her voice cuts through me. I sit beside her, careful not to touch, needing answers more than comfort. Tell me what happened. Her story unfolds in broken pieces. The book club, our growing connection, coffee dates that became something deeper. She describes our first kiss on this same beach where she took me walking, the night she came to my apartment, the morning she fled in panic. I was scared, she explains, confused about what it meant, what people would think. So you ended it? I tried to. But then the accident happened, and suddenly you didn't remember me at all, didn't remember us. Tears stream down her cheeks now. I realized too late that losing you was worse than any fear about what we were. As she talks, images flash through my mind like broken film strips, her laugh over coffee, nervous fingers touching mine, the weight of her head on my chest as we lay together afterward. I remember. I breathe. Her eyes widen. What do you remember? Pieces, fragments, your voice reading poetry, the way you felt in my arms. The memories return in waves, overwhelming and incomplete. Emotional imprints without full context, feelings without accompanying events. But enough to understand what we were, what we lost. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry I was a coward. I reach for her hands, no longer caring about careful boundaries. Her fingers intertwine with mine automatically, like muscle memory stronger than conscious thought. You came back, I say. You stayed when I didn't even know you. I couldn't leave you alone. Hannah. She looks up at me through tears, vulnerable and hopeful and terrified. The space between us feels charged with the same electricity I remember from our first kiss. That sense of standing on the edge of something transformative. Can we try again? I ask. Start over? What if you never remember everything? What if I do? She laughs through her tears, a sound like music I'd forgotten existed. When I lean closer, she doesn't pull away. When our lips meet, it's gentle, experimental, like our first kiss but weighted with everything we've lost and found. The kiss deepens, memory and present moment blending until I can't tell where healing ends and love begins. Her hands find my face, my hair, mapping territory that feels both foreign and achingly familiar. I love you, she whispers against my lips. I love you too. The words feel true even though I can't remember saying them before. Some connections transcend memory, exist in places deeper than conscious thought. I never stopped loving you, she continues, even when you looked at me like a stranger. I'm not a stranger anymore. We hold each other on my couch, her head tucked beneath my chin, both of us crying and laughing and marveling at second chances. The memories are still fragmented, incomplete, but the feelings are whole. Outside, Honolulu's trade winds carry the scent of plumeria through my open windows, and for the first time since waking up in that hospital bed, I feel like I'm truly home. Recovery becomes a journey we navigate together. Hannah moves into my apartment gradually, first staying overnight, then leaving clothes in my dresser, finally bringing her books to mingle with mine on the shelves. Each day brings more memory fragments, puzzle pieces that slowly form a picture of who we were. You used to code until 3 a.m., she tells me over breakfast. I'd bring you sandwiches so you wouldn't forget to eat. Sounds familiar, I admit, noticing how naturally she moves through my kitchen. The memories don't return in order. I remember our second kiss before our first coffee date, recall the weight of her head on my shoulder before remembering how we met. But each recovered moment feels like finding treasure, precious fragments of a love story I'm reclaiming one piece at a time. Work provides structure as my brain heals. Marcus visits frequently, helping me rebuild professional relationships I'd forgotten. He watches Hannah with knowing eyes, never asking questions but clearly understanding what she means to me. She's good for you, he says one afternoon after Hannah leaves. I'm remembering that. About time. 3 weeks after our reconciliation, Hannah suggests recreating our first real date. She leads me to the same coffee shop where we debated literature, orders the same drinks, even claims the same corner table. Tell me what you remember, she says, stirring her latte. Your laugh. The way you argued about character motivations. What else? I close my eyes, reaching for memories that feel just beyond my grasp. You were nervous. Kept organizing things that didn't need organizing. Her smile lights up her entire face. You do remember. But it's more than memory now. Sitting across from her, watching sunlight play across her features, I fall in love all over again. Not with the woman I'm remembering, but with the woman who stayed when I couldn't remember her at all. Hannah? Yeah? I want to go home with you. Her breath catches. Are you sure? We don't have to rush anything. I'm not rushing. I'm choosing. We walk to my apartment holding hands, both nervous despite having been lovers before. This feels like a new beginning, built on choices rather than just chemistry. When we reach my door, Hannah hesitates. What if it's different? What if we're different? Then we figure it out together. Inside, we move slowly, rediscovering each other with reverent touches and whispered encouragements. When Hannah's lips find mine, the kiss holds all the tenderness of first love combined with the depth of survived tragedy. We undress each other carefully, mapping familiar territory with new appreciation. Her skin feels perfect beneath my hands, responsive and eager and absolutely right. When she arches beneath me, whispering my name like a prayer, I know we've found our way back to something worth fighting for. Afterward, we lie tangled together, her fingers tracing patterns on my chest while I play with her hair. The contentment feels deeper than memory, rooted in choices made with full knowledge of what we've survived. I have something to tell you, she says softly. Good something or bad something? Good, I think. She props herself up to look at me. I told my boss about us, about you. My heart stops. What did you say? That I'm in love with a woman named Victoria Torres, and anyone who has a problem with that can find a new assistant. Hannah. I'm done being scared. Done hiding. Life's too short and love's too rare. I pull her down for another kiss, this one fierce with pride and gratitude and overwhelming relief. When we separate, she's smiling through tears. I also told my parents. How did that go? About as well as expected, but I don't care anymore. They'll either accept us or miss out on knowing the most amazing woman I've ever met. I love you, I whisper, meaning it with every recovered memory and every new moment we're building. I love you too. Both versions of you. What do you mean? The woman I fell for originally, and the woman who chose me again without remembering why. Her words settle something deep in my chest, a piece I didn't know I was missing. We've been given something rare, the chance to fall in love twice with the same person, to build our relationship on both passion and conscious choice. What happens now? I ask. Now we live, really live. No more hiding, no more fear. Promise? Promise. Outside, Hawaiian trade winds carry the scent of ocean and possibility through my open windows. Inside, we hold each other and plan a future built on love strong enough to survive memory loss and fear and all the obstacles the world might throw at us. 6 months later, I wake to the sound of ocean waves and Hannah's gentle breathing beside me. Our beachfront cottage in Kahala feels like paradise, a small piece of heaven we've carved out of the wreckage of memory loss and fear. Sunlight filters through bamboo blinds, painting golden patterns across her sleeping face. Morning, beautiful, she murmurs as her eyes flutter open. Morning yourself. We've learned to cherish these quiet moments, understanding how precious they are after nearly losing each other. My memories have returned in fragments, enough to understand what we were, but the woman I am now feels different, stronger, more certain of what matters. Big day today, Hannah says, stretching like a cat. Our engagement party. The thought still sends butterflies through my stomach, not from nervousness, but from overwhelming joy. After months of rebuilding our relationship on stronger foundations, I'd proposed on the same beach where we first kissed, the ring hidden in a poetry book that started it all. Second thoughts? I tease. Only about the guest list. Your book club friends are intense. I laugh, pulling her closer. They're excited for us. Elena practically cried when you told her. Happy tears, I hope. Definitely happy tears. We spend the morning preparing, transforming our small backyard into something magical. String lights create constellations between palm trees, while flowers Hannah arranged herself add splashes of color against the ocean backdrop. Our friends arrive gradually, faces I've relearned to love mixing with new ones we've made together. Marcus appears with a bottle of champagne and a grin that could power the island. Look at you two, all domestic and happy. Shocking, I know, I reply, but can't keep the smile off my face. The book club members cluster near our makeshift bar, debating contemporary literature with the same passion that brought Hannah and me together. Elena holds court near the appetizer table, regaling anyone who'll listen with stories of our courtship that somehow sound more romantic in her telling. As sunset approaches, Hannah calls for attention. She looks radiant in a flowing dress that catches Honolulu's trade winds, her blonde hair glowing in the golden light. When she smiles at me, my heart still skips like it did that first night in the coffee shop. Victoria has something to say, she announces. I take her hand, drawing courage from her steady presence. 6 months ago, I woke up in a hospital bed with no memory of the most important person in my life. Hannah could have walked away, could have accepted that fate had erased our love story. Murmurs of sympathy ripple through our guests. Hannah squeezes my fingers encouragingly. Instead, she stayed. She helped me rebuild not just my memories, but myself. She taught me that love isn't just about passion or chemistry, it's about choosing someone every single day, even when they can't remember why you should. I turn to face her fully, seeing tears gathering in her green eyes. Hannah Edwards, you are my choice. Today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Whether I remember our first kiss or have to fall in love with you all over again. The applause feels distant as I lean in to kiss her, sealing promises made in front of everyone who matters to us. When we separate, she's crying and laughing simultaneously. Your turn, I whisper. I was terrified when I first realized I was falling for you, she begins, voice carrying across our small gathering. Not because you were a woman, but because you were you, because you saw through all my careful walls and made me want to be braver than I'd ever been. She pauses, composing herself. When the accident happened, I thought I'd lost my chance. Lost you. But sitting in that hospital room, watching you struggle to remember your own name, I realized something important. The backyard falls completely silent except for waves against the shore. I didn't fall in love with your memories. I fell in love with your soul. And souls don't get erased by accidents or fear or other people's expectations. She lifts our joined hands, showing off the simple bands we chose together. Victoria Torres, you are my soul's recognition of its counterpart. My choice, my love, my home. This time when we kiss, our friends cheer loudly enough to startle the seabirds. But all I hear is Hannah's heartbeat against mine, steady and sure and absolutely right. Later, after our guests have gone home and we've cleaned up the remnants of celebration, we walk hand in hand along the moonlit beach, the same stretch of sand where everything began, where we first kissed, where I proposed, where we'll probably bring our grandchildren someday to tell them about love that survives everything. Any regrets? I ask as waves wash over our bare feet. Only one, Hannah says seriously. My heart catches. What's that? I wish I'd been brave enough to love you from the beginning. Wish we hadn't lost those months to fear. We didn't lose them. We learned from them. She stops walking, turns to face me with eyes bright as stars reflected on water. Promise me something. Anything. Promise we'll never let fear win again. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Together, I agree, sealing the vow with a kiss that tastes like salt air and new beginnings. Above us, the Hawaiian sky spreads endless and welcoming, full of possibilities we'll write together one memory at a time.